Hi, I'm the Universal Critic. I talk about whatever I want, whenever I want, and today I'm going to talk about Seth MacFarlane's feature film debut, Ted, about a man who grows up with his teddy bear and not in the way you're thinking of. So, how's the movie? It's a great way for Seth MacFarlane to start a movie career. You all know he's the guy who creates and does a lot of the voices for shows like Family Guy and American Dad, and they're all hilarious. And yeah, this film is just like that. In fact, it actually manages to incorporate some of the the cutaway gags from shows like Family Guy and American Dad, including this especially funny scene where they parody the disco scene from Airplane. You all remember that? That's hilarious. But well, how is the film itself? Let's talk about the obvious thing: the CGI of the character Ted himself. CGI was actually really good. It never looked fake. It looked like an actual teddy bear. Like it had like worn out patches on it to show that like it was like 27 years old, 20 something years old, which it was in the movie. And that was really good. Yeah, it looked really good. It never faltered, which is, well, I guess it's really the only CGI they use in the film. So they had all the what little budget they have for CGI, they concentrate on just the one thing. So it makes sense. How was the cast? Well, Mark Wahlberg did actually pretty well. Well as the main character, I forget his name. He's like a sort of a childish. Like he's an adult. He's like 35 years old. He has a job and all, but he's pretty immature about things. Like he spends his day getting stoned and watching movies with Ted. And basically the story is like whether he should continue his like bromance with Ted or continue pursuing his romance with his girlfriend, played by Mila Kunis. I know that's probably a familiar plotline, but it's actually done pretty well here. And Mila Kunis is the girlfriend. Well, let me just clear one thing up. They never make any "shut up, Meg" jokes in this movie. So yeah, just gonna let you know. Don't expect any of those because you won't find them. And I won't make any here. But yeah, Mila Kunis, she actually did pretty well. I mean, you can tell she really loves Mark Wahlberg, and she just wants what's best for him, or at least what she thinks is best for him anyway. And I like that. And of course, let's talk about what everyone's talking about: Seth MacFarlane as Ted himself. And yeah, Seth MacFarlane's hilarious. I mean, the way it's just it's just the shock value of a teddy bear saying and doing the things that he does and says in this movie is just great. But I will admit, the voice sounds way too much like Peter Griffin. Like, it's almost identical. In fact, they actually make fun of how much he sounds like Peter Griffin in the movie. It's just, I will admit, it's a little distracting, but not terribly distracting. It's still, because, well, it's a funny voice. Speaking of voice casting, like I said, Mila Kunis is the woman who voices Meg. Apparently, the people who voice Lois and Joe on Family Guy also have cameos in this movie. Yeah, you'll probably be able to recognize them by their voices, but just thought I'd like to point that out. But well, how was the movie? It goes beyond simply just raunch and shock value for comedy. It actually has kind of a moral to teach. Like, the story about this guy struggling to balance his childhood with his adult life. And basically the moral is, find some sort of balance. Like, be a kid in your heart, but be an adult in your mind. You shouldn't spend your entire adult life acting like a kid. I like that message, and that's pretty highbrow for a movie about a raunchy teddy bear. So yeah, Ted is actually a very funny movie, and surprisingly a pretty heartfelt movie. I know a lot of people think Seth MacFarlane is just in it for the raunch, but no, he actually has a moral to teach, not just in this, but in Family Guy and American Dad too. So yeah, Ted, it's not for your children. Don't take your kids to see this movie. You'll regret it. But for adults and teenagers, it's really good. It's a really good watch. Just expect some pretty shocking stuff. Not terribly shocking, but still pretty shocking. So yeah, Ted is really funny, really raunchy, of course, and really heartfelt. So I give it a very good recommendation. I'm the Universal Critic. I talk about whatever I want, whenever I want. Goodbye.